Thank the witnesses on our second panel for taking the time to be with us today. I know some of you have traveled from across the country to join us. It's important that you're here with us. You were here and had an opportunity to listen to representatives of the executive agencies talk about their approach to solving the problem, the fraud problem that was uncovered by the GAO report last year. You've had an opportunity to understand, I think, where I'm coming from on this and how I feel the agencies have responded to it. But I think what's even more important is to hear from you, those who are out there in the trenches of the economy every day, the ones who are responsible for competing for these contracts, the ones who create the jobs, and those who represent those veteran businesses that do that, and hear your thoughts on where the rubber meets the road, what it's like. I mean, what it really is like being on the end of the contractor, dealing with the government agency contracting officers, and you know, kind of what it feels like for you to have to engage with that system, and does it work? And that's what we're trying to get to at the end of the day here, is, you know, where is it not working and how can we make it work better for you? I'd like to go ahead and introduce our first panelist, Mr. John Kobelski, President and CEO of Andromeda Systems Incorporated from my district in Virginia Beach, Virginia. Andromeda Systems Incorporated provides technical and contractor support services in both the government and commercial sectors, and is a service-disabled, veteran-owned small business. We're going to have a 5-minute clock for all of our speakers, but if you feel like you have a few more points you want to make when we get to the end of the 5 minutes, go ahead and do so. Mr. Kobelski, thank you for being with us.
Good afternoon, Chairman Nye and members of the committee. My name is John Kobelski. I'm President of and CEO of Andromeda Systems Incorporated. I am pleased to be before the committee today testifying on behalf of the service-disabled veteran business owners. I have submitted my full statement, which I ask be made part of the hearing record. I am a small business owner and a disabled veteran who proudly served my country as an enlisted member of the United States Air Force from 1967 to 71, serving in Vietnam from October 68 through October 69, and as a naval flight officer and aeronautical engineering duty officer with the United States Navy from 74 to 90. I'm a graduate of Louisiana Tech University, a BS in 1973 on the GI Bill, and the Naval Postgraduate School, MSCE 1980. Since my retirement in 1990, I have been employed by several government service contractors, both large and small, and in 2005, I established Andromeda Systems Incorporated, along with my partner, John W. Henson, a fellow Vietnam veteran. I am also currently the Vice President of the Service Disabled Veteran-Owned Small Business Council out of Virginia Beach, Virginia, working exclusively for the promotion of service-disabled veteran-owned small businesses. Drawing from my experience as a service contractor, I have seen numerous obstacles placed before SDVOSBs seeking to gain the share of government contract opportunities outlined in Executive Order 13360, and have been made aware of incidents of fraud and abuse in the community. In my written statement, I have detailed my experience in these matters and given several examples and possible solutions. It is my opinion the major reason the 3% goal is not being met is that agencies claim they cannot find enough qualified companies in their searches to justify contract set-aside competition. I find it hard to believe that out of over 17,000 SDVOSBs, and I heard today there's about 24,000 of them now, listed in the CCR, an agency cannot find two qualified to perform most any contract. Are they really trying? Really. The requirement should be made into law and not just an executive order. Another reason given by agencies for not setting aside a contract is that the magnitude of the procurement disqualifies or increases the performance risk for several RFI responders. This again is disheartening to SDVOSBs, and I address this in more detail in my written statement. The 8A quotas are apparently being met by government agencies. Why isn't it the same for SDVOSBs? Is it because the 5% set-aside quota for Section 8A certified companies is law and not an executive order? A third reason, and probably the most compelling, is the political climate that surrounds all procurements. I'm not sure how one combats cronyism, favoritism, or the good old boy network, but highly qualified SDVOSBs, as well as plenty of other small businesses, have been denied contracts as a result of it. One major way to improve prime contract opportunities for SDVOSBs would be to streamline the sources sought and RFI processes and use other search criteria. A major reason why we established the council in Virginia Beach in 2009 was to provide qualified sources to federal agencies for competitive set-aside. All they have to do is ask us, and we'll go out and search for them. On the subcontracting side, unrestricted companies are not being held accountable for adhering to their small business subcontracting plans. Small business teammates on an awarded unrestricted contract see very little, if any, of the contract percentage promised them by the prime. Without oversight and penalties for large prime contractors, the practice of ignoring SDVOSBs will continue. Bundling, or the combining of many contracts into one, has hurt many small businesses, and in particular the SDVOSBs. Bundled contracts are usually competed as unrestricted and won by large companies, and as mentioned earlier, the large prime small business subcontracting plans are hardly ever enforced, and very little, if any, work flows down to the SDVOSB. In order for SDVOSBs to reach parity with the other set-aside programs, laws must be enacted, similar to that in the 8A community. Executive orders are important, but in no way do they carry the weight of a law. We understand that Congressman Whitman of Virginia has introduced legislation that makes Executive Order 13360 into law and even strengthens it. On the issue of fraud and abuse, there must be an official SBA certification process. It should be made mandatory for all businesses claiming to SDVOSBs, with severe penalties for those that falsify their representation. We also understand that Congressman and I use his help for preparing legislation in this area. In summary, laws are the key. Everyone jumps to the mention of the federal acquisition regulations, and everything else is a nice to have. It is a shame that some of our best and brightest, especially those coming home from Iraq and Afghanistan, who have given so much to this country and have so much more to offer, have to play second fiddle to the rest of the set-aside community. Those veterans know the sacrifices, hard work, and determination as much or even more than anyone. It is my opinion that all veterans small business owners, should be given parity, at least when it comes to DoD contracts. Veterans can make a difference, and like the 8A program, there should be a formal SBA process for certification and parity among set-asides. Thank you, Chairman Nye and committee members, for the opportunity to appear before you today. I stand ready to answer any questions you might have.